What is going on, Badger fans? We have the community transfer portal ranking show. Who are the top transfer portal guys coming on the football program according to the Badgers community? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers. I am Ryan Herrings. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being an everydayer, for making this your first listen every day. I appreciate you so much for giving us even a tiny slice of your time. So thank you. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. When you place a $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. Okay, jump right into it. And I apologize quickly for my voice. I have a bit of a cold, but we're going to keep rolling through here. This is what we did. We did this with the high school class coming in. We said, rank your top 10 players. And then we average out all the lists. You know, obviously, if you finish number one on that list for somebody submitting the rankings, you get 10 points and so on and so forth, all the way down to 1 point. And we average it all out and we sort it and say, this is the community's favorite prospect. This is the number 2. I said, let's do the same thing for the transfer guys, right? So send me your list. We got about 40 people sent their top 8 transfer portal guys in. That's awesome. Average them all out. Every single transfer portal guy, there's 12 of them as of now, got at least 1 vote. So we average it all out. We see who has the most, and we just rank them by that. This is the community's list. This isn't my list. This is the community's list. Certainly, my vote is in here. At the end, I'm going to kind of talk about where my vote was different than the community's votes. There are a couple specifically, but let's get into it. So let's start with number 12. Number 12 on this list is Kason Pfeiffer, the long snapper out of Cincinnati. He finished with 9 total points in the voting system. He was listed on 2 separate ballots. Listen, I get it. I get why he's last on this list. He's also a guy that most casual fans, most fans will never know the name Kason Pfeiffer, and that's a good thing, right? If you never know the name of the long snapper, this is a transfer portal win. If at the end of the year you ask somebody, hey, you know who Kason Pfeiffer is, and they're like, nah, I never heard of him. Internally, because y'all watching this show, we're like the Badger super fans, right? Internally, you'll know that this was a recruiting win then, because it means he never botched a snap. Special teams is incredibly important. They needed a long snapper. They went out and found a guy. It's going to be plug and play ideally. And if it is, this is a recruiting win. But yeah, you can see why he's probably last on this list. Certainly not the sexiest, most flashiest position to go into the portal for. Number 11. This was a little surprising to me. This is a tick lower than I thought it would be. The receiver out of Michigan State finished number 11 on the community ranking list for favorite portal guys coming in. That's Tyrell Henry coming out of Michigan State. He finishes with 24 total points. He was listed on 12 of the 34 ballots. So about a third of the ballots or so he was listed on. I thought he'd be a little higher. Again, I'm going to get into my list later. He comes in at 11. And if I'm guessing why he is where he is on this list, it's because it's not a huge flashy guy. He doesn't really bring what the boundary size you're looking for, the deep speed you're looking for. Didn't put up gaudy numbers at Michigan State. So and I think some people are still pretty enamored by the receiving group we have on the team. People still have high hopes for CJ Williams and Green and obviously Tretch, and you bring in Kyler Johnson. And maybe the thought here is that Henry just isn't as big of a need for the Badgers. Number 10, Sebastian Cheeks, the linebacker coming out of UNC, former Badger target in the recruiting portal. He finished with 30 points on the system here. He was listed on 13 ballots, so was listed on 1 more ballot than Tyrell Henry is. I get this one. Listen, I really like Sebastian Cheeks. So to me, Cheeks is an upside play. Like Sebastian Cheeks is the guy you bring in because he's a really good athlete. He's going to play in special teams, and if he can put it all together, probably not this year, but next year you're going to have a guy who's going to play a lot. I'm not sure how much he's going to play defensively this year, Sebastian Cheeks, just because of the depth at the position, because of who else is here, because of who else they brought in. That probably factors into why he's a little lower on these rankings. If we were going to do a list of just upside, right, who are the biggest upside guys, I think Sebastian Cheeks would be a little higher because he does have unique athleticism and size for the position. Gives you versatility, but he finishes 10th on this list. Coming in at number 9, RJ Delancey. The cornerback coming out of Toledo, 6 foot, probably slots right into where Jason Medical is playing. That's what's been talked about. He comes in at number 9. So let's put that up. That's the bottom 4 on this list. You have Kason Pfeiffer, the long snapper from Cincinnati, at 12. Tyrell Henry, the receiver from Michigan State, at 11. Sebastian Cheeks, the linebacker from UNC, at 10. And RJ Delancey, the cornerback coming out of Toledo, at 9. Let me just get into where I had these guys ranked. And then at the end, I'm going to kind of tell you why or where I'm different specifically and my reasons for it. So I didn't have Carson Pfeiffer ranked in my top 8. I had Tyrell Henry at 7. So again, that's a spot. I had Tyrell Henry definitely several spots higher than the community did in terms of importance and what I like about him. I had Sebastian Cheeks at 8. So I had him also. I was a little higher on Sebastian Cheeks than the community. He was in my top 8. And then I had RJ Delancey unranked. I don't know. The thing with Delancey is there's a lot of cornerbacks coming in. He's kind of a veteran guy. He's probably going to play. If you were going to do a list of guys who are most likely to play, which is also going to be in this show, I think Delancey's in the top 5 there. I think he's going to play, but I'm just not sure if his upside and his tools are great. I don't think we got a ton from Matry last year. We got snaps, right? We got production. He certainly made the room better. I think Delancey might be a little bit in that mold. Now, Delancey's a really good special teams guy. That's the thing that I don't want to. It sounds almost like a backhanded compliment when you say, well, he's a cornerback, but he's great on special teams. But that's really important. I heard 2 different coaches talk about how good he is on special teams. Toledo's coach, and I believe it's another coach in conference that said he's a demon on special teams. So, like, you're getting better in different phases of football with Delancey, but I still didn't have him ranked in my top 8. So I had him a little bit lower. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with the next group of portal rankings. Who do I have, or who did the community have at 8, 7, 6, and 5 with this group of players coming in? We're going to get to that next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick break for our friends of the show over at eBay Motors. eBay Motors is the number 1 place for all your car part needs. Everything you need to buy for your ride or die, you can get on ebaymotors.com. And it's easy. It's simple. You don't have to go to a store, get in a car, talk to somebody who doesn't really care, try to tell them everything about your vehicle. They may not have what they need in the warehouse. And then what are you doing? You're sitting around. You might maybe getting a part you don't really want. You're wasting time. On eBay Motors, you get the right parts, the right fit at the right prices, and everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level it up to peak performance. You're burning rubber, not cash, because you also get the best prices, over 122 million parts to ensure that you are getting exactly what you need for your car. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. You're not going to beat that guarantee. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions to apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. That is ebaymotors.com. The right parts, the right prices, the right fit, guaranteed. Today's episode is also brought to you by our incredible friends over at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the number 1 source for hiring managers. If you're trying to find the right talent, tap into the biggest professional network in the world. That is what LinkedIn Jobs is here for you. We have a great offer at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. You get to post your job for free. Helps you find qualified candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions to apply. Why would you use that? It's because LinkedIn saves you time. It saves you money. It keeps people who have no business interviewing for your job out of the door. They have screening tools, and it's like the spaghetti strainer, right? All the good candidates stay in the spaghetti strainer. All the water or the candidates have no business being there, they go away. LinkedIn is your spaghetti strainer for job applicants. Again, great offer, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. It's something I use. It's something my company uses. Post your job for free, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. They are the best out there. Tap into them. Use those resources. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's get into the next group of candidates. We did the 12 through 9. Let's get into the next group of candidates in our community transfer portal rankings. And I'm going to tell you where I think y'all are wrong, or maybe I'm wrong. We'll get into that next. At number 8, Tyler Walker. The community comes in with the running back at Oklahoma. He is the 8th ranked prospect in this transfer class, according to the community. Really interesting player. Tyler Walker, it's funny, right? Because when somebody commits, you have kind of your snap judgment in your head. And then you think about it more, you think about it, you stew on it, and you're like, the more I think about it, like the more I really like the Tyler Walker. He might be the 1 or 2 guys that I've most come more around on since getting him. Like I had thought the running back room was good enough, to be honest. But then you watch some film on him. I talked to an Oklahoma guy who had covered Oklahoma and said, this guy's great. You're going to love him. Really hard-nosed, physical runner, well-liked by his teammates. He's going to come in and just give you a physical element to the game, gives you insurance in case Chez Mellusi gets hurt. He comes in on the community ranking list at number 8. He has 62 points and was rated on 22 of the ballots. So we're getting up there now. Number 7, we got Jackson McGunna, the big tight end out of LSU, receiving threat. Finished with 79 points, rated on 26 of the ballots that we got. Finished 7th on this list. Big physical. He's a guy, when you talk about, when we asked people to make this list, right, we said, give us your top 8 transfer guys, and you can rank it on any criteria. You remember what I said? Position of need, upside, athleticism. This is one checks a lot of boxes. Position of need, tight end. Abso-friggin-lutely. Athleticism. Yeah, he's got that too. Big time prospect, great film. Like, he's a guy who could have been higher. I'm actually a little surprised he's not higher because, excuse me, he feels like a guy who's going to come in and play. He feels like a guy who can elevate some of the offense around him, elevate that position. But he comes in at 7 on the community list. Number 6, Elijah Hills, the defense lineman they just picked up out of Albany. This is, again, I had Elijah Hills at 4th. He's coming in at 6 on the community. This feels like one where the position of need, to me, means he should be higher. But we're going to get into kind of my thoughts on that later. He comes out at 6. He had 97 points. He was ranked on 26 of the 34 ballots, which means the lone defensive lineman in this transfer class, a guy fitting maybe the biggest position of need, isn't even ranked on 8 ballots. That's surprising to me. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's a little surprising to me. Obviously, a smaller school guy. I think that probably factored into it. Number 5, Leon Lowery. Excuse me one sec. Number 5 coming in on this list is Leon Lowery, 119 points, listed on 28 of the ballots. So we're starting to get up into a point where we had 34 people submit ballots. Lowery's listed on 28 of them. We're starting to get to a point where these prospects are listed on every ballot. Let's put the updated list up here. So again, 8 to 5, it was Tyree Walker, Jackson McGunna, Elijah Hills, and Leon Lowery. I had Lowery right in this range. I had Elijah Hills ranked a little higher. I had Jackson McGunna ranked a little higher, and I had Tyree Walker ranked a little bit lower on my list. Let's get into the next group here. Okay, let's get into the next group here. This is the community's top 4 in order portal additions in this football cycle. And number 4, we have John Pius, 161 points, listed on 31 ballots. That's higher than I thought he would be. Certainly people that are banking on the experience, the athleticism, the explosive ability, the pass rushing ability. I can see it. It's higher than I thought it would be, but I can see it. And number 3, we have Tackett Curtis, coming in with 189 points, listed on 32 of the 34 ballots. So there's 2 ballots out there that don't have Tackett Curtis listed, which, again, that one's nuts to me too. But Tackett Curtis, the big linebacker coming out of USC, is listed number 3 on the community list. Number 2 is Jaheim Thomas, obviously the experienced, multi-year experience starter coming from that Cincinnati system to Arkansas, SEC experience, a ton of statistical production for the Razorbacks. They got him, the community's got him at number 2, 213 points, listed on 32 ballots. So again, 2 ballots that don't have Jaheim Thomas on it in their top 8 group. And then number 1 is Tyler Van Dyke. Right, which honestly, that should be no surprise. Tyler Van Dyke had 227 ballots. He was listed on 227 points, listed on 33 of 35 ballots. Let me pull the full list up here. That should surprise no one because he's a quarterback. Right, at the end of the day, no matter what you think of his talent, if he hits, he elevates everything more so than if any other player hits. I think as long as there's a chance he can hit, and there is with him because he has NFL arm strength, he has size. He's worked in the ACC. He's had good moments. So there's absolutely a chance he does well in Madison. And if he does, he elevates everything else to a degree that no other player on this list can. So I agree with that. I think he should be number 1. All right, so here's the list in order. We got from 12 to 1, according to the community, Kason Pfeiffer, Tyrell Henry, Sebastian Cheeks, RJ Delancey. Then you get into Tyree Walker, Jackson McGunna, Elijah Hills, Leon Lowery, John Pius, Tackett Curtis, Jaheim Thomas, and Tyler Van Dyke. No, where do I disagree slightly? And again, it's just my opinion. When I say I disagree slightly, my list was different in little areas, just like everybody's is. I certainly had Tyler Van Dyke number 1. I think that is kind of a no-brainer, to be honest, for me. I had Tackett Curtis number 2. I can definitely see the argument. I went back and forth with him and Jaheim Thomas. I can definitely see the argument for Thomas. I just think I think Tackett has more upside. When we're talking, if we're just talking about next year, I would have Jaheim Thomas higher. But you could have Tackett here for a couple years. And I think over the course of a couple years, he's going to give more to this program than Jaheim Thomas is just next year. At number 4, let me pull up my list here. At number 4, I had Elijah Hills, right? Because the position of need, you just need a defensive lineman so badly in this class. So I had him at number 4 just because I think you brought in 6 linebackers. Who's going to keep the offensive lineman off of them? I don't know if Elijah Hills is that guy, but you need him to be kind of one of those guys. So I have him at number 4 just because I think he fits such a position of need for the Badgers. Coming at number 5, I have Jackson McGunnough because I think he's going to play early. I think he's athletic. I think he has a lot of upside. He checks a ton of boxes for me. Next, I have Leon Lowery. Lowery, I have higher than Pius. I think I'm unique on that. I think most people like the Pius pickup more than Lowery. I think Lowery is a bigger frame. He's a little more athletic. I love Leon Lowery in this class. I can't wait to see him play. And then I have Tyrell Henry at 2 and Sebastian Cheeks at 1. So I guess the guy the community was highest on that I wasn't is John Pius. I didn't even have him in my top 8, and he finished 4th on this list. And the guy I'm probably highest on that the community is lower on is Elijah Hills. I had him several ticks higher just because the position of need is so incredibly important for this team. Like they need another defensive lineman. They need 2 more defensive linemen. So I'm a little higher on Elijah, mostly just because he's a defensive lineman. And he's got some skills. Like he has the ability to gift the ball, use his hands. He's got some quickness. But just position I need. You absolutely need that dude. All right, coming back. We're going to talk about the 5 guys, and I want your comments on this too. Who are the 5 transfer guys you are most confident are going to play this year? We're going to talk about that next and play a sizable role. Not just play, but play a sizable role this year. We're going to talk about that next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick break for our friends of the show over at FanDuel. FanDuel remains your number 1 source for all of your sports betting needs, all your sports betting information. They have everything you need from futures, teasers, parlay spreads. Green Bay, San Francisco coming up obviously this week, and that is a huge betting opportunity. That line is coming down. It was started at 9.5. Last I saw was Green Bay plus 8. That feels more reasonable to me. I thought the line started too high. I can't wait to watch that game. Put some money on it over at FanDuel. New customers with a $5 bet, you get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. It is a great time to do this. And again, every sport, basketball is going on right now. You have college basketball, NFL playoffs. It is a great time. Or futures bets. If you think maybe this college basketball season might end in some glory for the Badgers, go to FanDuel, put a few bucks on it, do it responsibly. But it is a great time to head over to FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet a layup. The payouts are easy. The user interface is easy. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NFL. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Get started today. Do it responsibly, but have fun. Okay, I want to get into this question, and I'm curious where everyone is on this. If I asked you, who are the 5 players that you are most confident will play a sizable role next year? Not just special teams, not being the 2 deep and work their way in. But you're like, yeah, that dude is going to play. He's probably going to be a starter, or if he's not a starter, he's getting starter level reps, right? Who are those guys for you? I've got my 5. I want your 5 too. And we'll just wrap it up. We'll do a comment show on it. So number 5, I think it's RJ Delancey. I think Delancey's playing a lot. Now, again, I wasn't as high on him in the portal rankings because I don't think the upside is fully there with him, but I think he's probably slotting into what Maitre did. And Maitre was a borderline starter, right? If you're playing that nickel position, you're playing that kind of slot corner, you're starting in today's era of college football. So I think Delancey is a very good bet to step into that role. He's on my top 5. Number 4, I have Tackett Curtis. Again, I just think there's that. First of all, I don't think he comes here unless he's pretty sure he's starting. People can talk about competition all they want. People can talk about he's not afraid of it. I think he probably had a conversation somewhere. There's $5 linebackers coming in. Am I going to play? And I'm pretty sure him coming in, well, not 6 linebackers anymore, right? Because Josiah Galvin left. But I'm pretty sure that he's playing a ton this year. I would put money on him starting this year. So he's a starting linebacker that's going to play a lot. I have Tackett Curtis at 4. Elijah Hills at 3 for everything I talked about earlier, right? He's a defensive lineman. I mean, it's as simple as that. He's a defensive lineman on a team that needs defensive linemen. Is he going to start? I doubt it. I'm just thinking about the depth chart in my head. Is he going to play in the 2 deep? Yes. And if he's in the 2 deep, he's going to play a ton. He's going to be counted on. There's a reason they went and got him in the portal. I mean, you need this guy, and he's a guy who comes in with ready-made size. He has some athleticism, some speed. For a defensive tackle interior guy, I think he can generate a little bit of disruption. So, what are those things? Those are all things that are missing on this team, right? It's not just a defensive body; it's a defensive body that brings something to that defensive line room that Greg Scruggs, that Coach Tressel don't have right now. That's going to make it even more likely, in my opinion, that he plays. So I have Elijah Hills at number 3. Number 2, I have Jaheim Thomas. I think that's a no-brainer, right? Outside of Van Dyke, who I obviously have at number 1, Thomas just got done being the best linebacker on the Arkansas Razorbacks, had 90 tackles last year, played and started in Cincinnati for this staff, played and started in the SEC. Like, he is barring injury, as stone cold a lock of a transfer starter as you can get outside of quarterback too. Like, he is absolutely coming in, day 1 starter, rep 1 starter, maybe the best linebacker next year. Like, he is 100% getting a ton of reps next year. So Jaheim Thomas is an obvious one. And then obviously at number 1, it's Tyler Van Dyke. On this list, I have Tyler Van Duke. That is not correct. But Tyler Van Dyke coming in, obviously he's the number 1 guy. And they'll talk about a competition, right? Braden Locke will prepare like Braden Locke prepares. And hopefully Evers takes a big step. And hopefully Cole LaCruz healthy and ready to go. And maybe Matt Toyer is going to enroll early and get started. It doesn't matter. It's Tyler Van Dyke's job. He would have to completely crater, and he's not going to completely crater because he's not a terrible quarterback. So it's Tyler Van Dyke's job. A couple other guys on this list that I feel good about playing. I think Tyree Walker is going to play a lot, right? You get an upperclassman running back. He's coming here. He's not coming here to sit on the bench. I think Jackson McGunna is going to play. I've talked about that. Some of the linebackers, a lot of them are going to play, but it's hard to know exactly who. Like, I think Pius is going to play. I also think Lowery's going to play. They're not going to play as much, in my opinion, as Tackett or Jaheim Thomas. Tyrell Henry, I think, is going to play a lot, but where does he slot in? I think he's probably better in the slot, and they already have a couple slot guys. So to me, that's an interesting one. A lot of these guys are going to play. But again, my top 5 in terms of who's going to make the biggest impact in 2024, I got Delancey, the cornerback, at 5, who slots in for Maitre. I got Tackett, the linebacker from USC, who I think is going to start. I have Elijah Hills, the defensive lineman, at 3. He's going to be in that 2 deep for sure, potentially a starter. And then Jaheim Thomas and Tyler Van Dyke, to me, are obvious ones, kind of being a starting linebacker and quarterback. Let me know your list. Who do you think is going to start next year? Who do you think is going to make the biggest impact out of these transfer guys? Let me know if you agree or disagree with the community's list of the top 12, how they ranked them. Let me know. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. My cold is getting the best of me a little bit, but I really do appreciate everybody sticking with this, enjoying it. Thank you for your submissions on the transfer portal list. That's awesome. We'll do more stuff like that with the community as always. On Wisconsin, and we'll talk later.